So we're joined by Harry Benson and his wife. Now, Harry's mantra is happy wife, happy life. I like you already. I like that. He uses that motto with his wife, Kate. And Kate, this was actually because you took the step to say you weren't happy in your marriage. How long had you been married when you actually said that to Harry?
I think by the time I really put it down on paper, we'd been married for 8 years. And I hadn't been happily married to Harry for quite a lot of that. But I had been happily married also for about 5 years. We'd had a very good time.
So
then the
what
kids
changed?
came. It was the kids that came. I mean, we wanted kids and we love our kids. But I think what happens naturally in family life is that the woman becomes more child-orientated, even if they're career women. They can't help the fact that they've had the baby. And
also, those kids need you. You have to look after them.
Yeah, I do, and I absolutely loved it. It was my favourite thing. And I think I took my eye off the couple. My eyes went down to the children, and it completely enveloped me. And I think Harry took his eyes off me.
Sorry, so if you got it wrong in the first place, like so many women who reject their husbands or neglect their husbands, the word I'm looking for, why is it a happy wife, a happy life? See, I think that's running up the white flag. That's very sexist. There's no way in God's earth I could say today, happy man, happy plan.
No,
huh?
No, but I think I was reading about you, and I think it's very interesting, because it sounds a bit flippant, oh, happy wife, happy life, but actually, you were saying that, you know, the woman, your eye has to come off to your children, and I do think sometimes men can feel very rejected, and instead of us thinking, oh, he's feeling a bit rejected, I need to spend more time, my thoughts were, oh, grow up, you know, you can look after yourself. I've got this baby that can't look after itself.
This baby's 14, incidentally.
Yeah,
just want to point that out.
But, you know, do you see that it's nobody's fault, really, but if you don't address it, then it becomes
I think
a big
one
problem.
of the things that I did very, very subtly, didn't realise I was doing it, is that because Harry wasn't stepping up, in my opinion, he was quite good with the kids when it suited him, is that I started to treat him more as part of the home care package. He was just another thing I had to look after.
Yeah.
Look,
and
you can say what you want, kids, whatever, home package, whatever, but as soon as the physical attraction goes, everything goes. That's my view. Is that what happened?
I think what happens is that I think we're talking about human nature here, and there's an awful lot of guff talked about differences between men and women. I mean, there are differences between people, so forget Mars and Venus. The really important difference is that women have babies and men don't. And I think the experience of childbirth and pregnancy and 9 months of effectively thinking about nothing but baby, 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 orientates a woman towards her child automatically in a way that doesn't necessarily happen as obviously for a man. And so the attention that you might have lavished on each other equally beforehand as a man and a woman, equally valid, equally in love with each other, I think it becomes a lot more difficult to sustain that for the woman. And
How did you turn it around?
Yeah. So when Kate said all this to you, you're not stepping up, Harry, I'm not happy, and she said it very seriously,
yeah.
You know, I'm really not happy. Was your reaction to be defensive, or did you really take that on board?
The thing that really made the difference was Kate wrote me a letter, and it was sort of like a job spec of what it was to be Harry's wife, and terms and conditions, and time and hours, and fun, and travel, and perks, and responsibilities, and all those things. And at the end of it, she said, but what I really want is friendship. And will I ever get that? I don't know. And anyway, who cares? And she said those words, who cares, in capital letters. And at the end of it, I thought, oh, my goodness, I read this thing, and I thought, what have I done? And we'd been married 8 years, we had 2 young children, we drifted apart, and I'd stopped being her friend, and I'd stopped...
But you hadn't noticed?
Caring. No, because we'd fallen into the sort of traditional roles of me going out and working, Kate looking after the kids, because I thought, you know, she was good at it. I'd taken a back seat, almost subtly.
See, there will be some men, Harry, that, you know, we can't kind of knock men all the time. There'll be men saying, yeah, but I have to go out to work. So lots of women say, oh, you know, he doesn't take much notice now. But then you say, but he's still getting up, going to work, you know, and not every case. Of course, there are house husbands, but generally...
Can I also just say, if I wrote you a letter saying, Ruth, here's a few things I'd like us to consider, you would take that negatively?
No, I think if I'm absolutely honest, and I think most of us, if we're honest, whenever anybody says, you know, I'm not happy with this, your immediate response is to be on the defensive because you feel like you're being attacked. So instead of listening and saying, oh gosh, I'm take that on board. This is why I think marriage counselling is so good, couples counselling. I would go, oh, well, you're not happy, well, what about me? And that gets you nowhere, so you just argue. But actually, if it had come to the point, and I think writing a letter is very interesting because you have time to really put down your feelings with care and consideration, don't you, without a fight.
You mentioned earlier about, you know, when does the attraction go? I think if you're not friends, I think certainly for women, if you're not friends,
Yes.
it's very difficult.
Who's your
to be
best friend in
intimate.
the world?
You.
Who's my best friend in the world?
Who's my best friend in the world? Harry.
That's
He
it.
really is. And I absolutely adore him. But there was a long time where there was this kind of subtle neglect, and
Yes.
I felt constantly disappointed, and then I started micromanaging, and then my voice was just, can you do this, can you do that, and he would retreat. It was a vortex, and the whole thing was pretty negative, but I'm sure very normal.
Yeah,